Hello everyone, it is Dr. Julie Anné coming to you from A New Beginning and the Healthy Way Out in Scottsdale, Arizona. Thank you so much for tuning into this next episode of Not Your Typical Eating Disorder Recovery Tips Tuesday, where we work to understand the underlying psychological dynamics that give rise to your outward eating disordered behavior. In today's episode, we are going to talk about one of my favorite concepts, and that is the need to use your voice. Now, we all need to feel a healthy sense of empowerment and control within ourselves and certainly in our personal world. When we do, we tend to feel calm, we have less anxiety, and we feel as if we've got some healthy control over our world. Now, if you are somebody that does not allow yourself to assert control within your own world, i.e., you don't use your personal voice, it is very likely that to your psyche, this registers as stress and actually on a deeper level, psychological distress. Now, your psyche is an absolutely miraculous entity. It is always searching for ways to take care of itself, and it will, on an unconscious basis, step in during times of need and actually try to create a sense of equilibrium, even though sometimes that ends up in maladaptive behavior. Now, what the heck am I talking about? Well, let's look at this concept of not allowing yourself to be empowered within your own self or in your life. And this leading to an internal sense of lack of control, which your psyche registers as distress. Now, if you have a propensity towards eating disorder behavior, we call that predisposing factors. That could be genetics, because we know that it's really genetically based. 70% of eating disorders come from genetics, believe it or not. It could be because of your biochemistry or temperament. Maybe you're a highly sensitive person, like so many of our individuals who struggle with binge eating are. Maybe you came from a family system that really overemphasized appearance and or put value and actually self-worth on what you looked like on the outside. Or maybe you're just simply a victim of this really dysfunctional culture that we live in that puts so much emphasis on outer appearance and lookism. Well, these are all predisposing factors to the development of an eating disorder. If you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or more of these predisposing factors, and your psyche is in an underlying sense of distress in today's concept because you feel a lack of control in your life, because you are disempowered, guess what? It is going to search for a way to get some sense of pseudo-control. And if you've got that propensity towards an eating disorder, guess what? That's going to come out in trying to control your body shape or weight and or control the food that you allow to enter into your body. This is one of the primary ways that when your psychological self does not feel that it is in control, empowered, or has a voice, the voice of Ed becomes super loud and unhealthy. Now, if you are watching this video and you are saying, oh my gosh, that's me, well, first of all, I call that an aha moment. And secondly, it's probably followed by, what in the world is wrong with me? If you're like most of my rather shame-based clients. If you are having one or both of those experiences, what I'm going to say is, first of all, you're certainly not alone. And second of all, you probably very likely came by this inability to use your voice honestly. In my therapeutic experience, I see 5 primary profiles of people who, as an adult, are not yet able to use their voice. The first is if you would describe yourself as a people pleaser. And people pleasers usually grew up being told that if they were nice, people would like them. Therefore, they become adults that have interpersonal relationships that they feel if I assert my needs or if I disagree with what this friend or husband or lover wants, they're not going to want me. They're going to reject me. Therefore, I better keep agreeing with what they want, which to your psyche keeps giving it the message that you're out of control. Another profile I frequently see in adults who are not yet able to use their voice are individuals who grew up being praised for being either a good girl or a helpful boy, overly complacent kids that put their needs aside or suppressed their needs in support of the needs of others, primarily starting in the family of origin, then extending to peers, and in later life in your interpersonal relationships. So these are individuals that feel like it is my identity as a good person to not assert my needs. Another scenario we see is if you grew up in a family of origin where actually needs were not allowed. Needs were really sometimes punished. You were told that you should be seen and not heard. Maybe you were reprimanded if you spoke up. Other times people can either be part of a religious affiliation or part of a culture that does not allow or prioritize needs, and in some cases, especially if you are a woman. And lastly, maybe as an adult, you are someone that intellectually knows, I'm supposed to assert myself. I want to use my voice, but you simply don't feel good enough yet about yourself or your self-worth to be able to do it. Well, if you see yourself in any of these scenarios, that definitely is hard. But guess what? Change comes first and foremost by awareness. So if you saw yourself in any of these dynamics or these profiles that I talked about today that has led you to live a life where you are disempowered within yourself and you would like to learn how to use your voice, stay tuned. My next video is going to be about taking beginning steps to be able to find your voice and assert it towards others so that you actually get a better sense of healthy empowerment and control in your world. And therefore, Ed doesn't need to have pseudo control through eating disorder behaviors. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I love providing education and hopefully inspiration to help you to understand the seemingly complex underlying psychological dynamics that do give rise to resistant eating disorder behavior. I know as an eating disorder specialist and clinical psychologist that you can change all of these dynamics. Is it easy? No. Is it possible? Absolutely. Thank you so much for tuning in. Next time, we will talk about how to take beginning steps to connect to your voice and to be able to assert it so you have a better sense of healthy empowerment. If you've enjoyed this segment, please do like it, pass it on to others, subscribe to A New Beginning and The Healthy Way Out. We love, again, giving education to you, really spreading the word about what eating disorders and recovery are all about. I'm Dr. Julie T. Anné. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time.